All right, everyone. Thank you for joining our April coffee hour here. Again, we're going to be streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So just find whatever platform works better for you to watch. So we are currently on in-district working session for the last 2 weeks. So today's updates will be relatively short in nature, but we still have some good content to go over. So I look forward to going through that and answering any questions that you all may have. Again, please remember just to drop any questions or thoughts in the chat of whatever platform you're working. Also, there should be some forms pinned to each chat to sign in. If you could, just take 10 seconds and please fill those out. It just helps us kind of better prepare these events in terms of understanding what content to include, when to host them, just what works better for everyone's schedule. So that'd be much appreciated if you could do that. But before we get into more of the Lansing piece, I just wanted to kind of cover some things that we had working locally here. First, very excited to kind of bring an update to our student advisory group. Again, for those not familiar, that is a group we have put together here locally for really high school age children and students to just kind of uplift their voice. Political opinions clearly develop before the age of 18 when people are allowed to vote. And the young voice, that demographic is certainly missing in the political arena. And so I want to do whatever I can just to uplift those voices here. So we actually had our first meeting, I think late last week, and it was a hit. As always, I left that meeting just truly inspired by talking to our future leaders. Had some great ideas, some introductions. We had a number of people across a number of students across the 21st district join. And again, we will be sharing more highlights of that just as we kind of go through more meetings and just further develop just what we're trying to get out of it. But, we're really excited. We're going to be providing just insight into kind of how government works, especially at the state level. We have a number of guest speakers planned. We're going to be drafting a bill together. And so right now we're soliciting bill ideas. And it's just really great to just see the, future generations and future leaders really just take hold of kind of this process at an early age. I know, I got my start a little bit later in life. And so just to meet all these students who are just so passionate at a young age is really inspiring. And I look forward to working with them and just seeing how they can make me a better leader. So that'll be really exciting to see kind of what comes after that. Also, we have a special event tomorrow, April 13th. It is a holiday called Vasaki, celebrated primarily in northern India. And so we are hosting an event tomorrow. And so there'll be some registration info left in the chat. And we have just a number of different elected officials from across the state of Michigan joining for just a virtual celebration. Like all holidays, celebrations these past, 12, 15 months just have looked very different, unfortunately. So we won't have the song, dance, and food that you traditionally do. But still, it's absolutely still really important to uplift, all of our communities and, just find a way to celebrate what we have, because we all know the last year has been extremely difficult for everyone. And so really just whatever excuse we have to just get our mind off things and celebrate is extremely important, in my opinion. And so I'm glad to kind of be leading that effort. And so please join if you can. Also, recap, we're doing so many things in the district. And so another program we had was our book cover competition for young students. I believe it was for grades K through 4, if I'm not mistaken. We had a number of entries come in. And so I know the team is just kind of pouring through all that. It's been wonderful kind of seeing everyone's ideas and favorite books and learning about what inspires our children here in our district. I'm going to be proudly displaying all entries in our office in Lansing. And so all of Lansing can see just how creative our students are. We will routinely be doing different competitions or projects for just to engage younger students. It's very important for me to kind of lift up all those voices and see what's going on, regardless of age in our district. And so it's always great to kind of recenter my focus and to remember why we're fighting for what we're doing and kind of what the future of Michigan is going to look like. So it's always really endearing to hear from them and take their questions. Just on the subject of local news, there's been a lot happening. Congratulations to Canton Township for their instituting their new program to hire on social workers. That was an effort led by Police Chief Chad Baugh, and I know the Canton local township government and the supervisor and the board. I fully applaud their effort. I think it's just a phenomenal step to restore some trust within the broader public safety arena and all of the constituents here. So I think that's great. I think it's a proactive move. Just a lot of times in these conversations, we're often reacting from a reactionary position. And so I think just to kind of get ahead of situations, I think is just phenomenal. And so that's, again, I just couldn't applaud that move enough. I think that is a step in which many local communities should consider going. On the same topic of Police Chief Baugh, congratulations also on your commission appointment. He was recently named to the Human Trafficking Commission, appointed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. He's been doing a lot here on this issue already. I just couldn't think of a more deserving person to help just lead this fight and be a part of this. So look forward to your work. And again, congratulations on your appointment there. On the subject of good news, also wanted to congratulate our clerk in Canton Township, Michael Seacrest, on the addition to your family. So just all the best to the baby and mother. I hope that all is well, but wish you all the best in that new journey. And so also some just other quick local notes on the latest CARE Act money coming from the federal level. I know our local districts here in District 21 are scheduled to get some dollars. And so I don't know the exact numbers, but I believe Van Buren Township is somewhere in the 4 million range, and Canton Township's a little bit higher than that. And so the good thing about these funds is they do not need to be approved by the state legislator. And so we can hopefully avoid all the political theater we've been kind of living the last few months. And these monies can be given to the local jurisdictions right away, and they can be put to use. And so that is great. And lastly, on the local level, I wanted to personally congratulate Kelly Wolke. She was the recipient of our first Exceptional Educator Award or tribute. Just educators across the district, across the state, across the country have just routinely just sacrificed so much. And so it is just really inspiring to see the work of all educators. Both Kelly and her husband are both educators and are both very deserving, but she beat out her husband. But just thank you for your sacrifice, Kelly. It is phenomenal, the work that you're doing. I know everyone appreciates your work and thank you so much for your sacrifice. So that's kind of our local update. I know we're kind of flying through things. There is, if you do have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. And we'll be sure to try to get through all of your answers, all of your questions. But kind of moving on to the Lansing piece, our last one of our last days in session before the in-district working period was one of the best days of my career as a legislator. And so at the end of March, we passed a package of healthcare bills, primarily to lower the cost of prescription drugs here in Michigan. And I tell you what, as divided as things are, as partisan as issues have become, that restored so much faith for me in just kind of what's possible when we find ways to look beyond the party lines and work together. And so I think we passed roughly 15 bills. And so I won't get into specifics of each one. I can tell you that they were good legislation overall. I voted no on a couple items, but there's nothing that I was egregiously opposed to. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe all 15 bills passed, and it'll be very effective in Michigan here to just kind of help drive down healthcare costs. It's something I talked about a lot on the campaign trail. It was something I was very excited to lend my name to and sign on to a number of those bills. I think notably, we're going to start allowing oral chemotherapy treatments to be covered under insurance. I believe there's a cap on the copay for insulin. Just a number of great steps, and just legislation may not always be perfect, but this was definitely a step in the right direction. And so I'm happy just to see our Michigan House come together and just pass legislation for the betterment of the people of Michigan. And so that was just something I was happy to be a part of. And but sadly, also in the House, though, I did have the honor to introduce a resolution, House Resolution 61, to condemn the hate crimes against the Asian American community. And so this is something that was just very near and dear to my heart for many of those people that are familiar with my personal story. My family has suffered from hate crimes. And so, and so it was good to kind of be a voice in this space. And so since the rise of the pandemic, there's been a tremendous spike in hate crimes against the broader Asian community. I believe the Chinese and Korean and Vietnamese communities have kind of bore the brunt of it, but unfortunately it is affecting all Asian communities. There's just really awful things happening. It's happening here locally. It's happening across the state. There's a number of incidents, dozens of incidents recorded. I've talked to Asian families personally, parents who are scared to send their kids to school and are actually refusing to send their kids back to in-person learning for the fear of violence and both verbal and physical abuse that their kids may suffer. And so our House resolution condemned those acts, really encourage people to start reporting those to make sure that we have the most accurate data. Also, since the last time we've spoke, we passed another package on FOIA, or the Freedom of Information Act. This will provide just broader transparency overall to just our state government. Unfortunately, Michigan ranks near on the bottom end of that spectrum. It's just a list we shouldn't be proud to be on. And so anything that we can do to, again, just broaden the transparency to Michigan's elected officials. I don't think elected officials should receive special treatment. And so these bills will just provide more transparency overall by allowing just broader FOIA rights to the legislator as a whole. So I think that is good. Again, it was also a bipartisan package. And so it was great to kind of see the House come together. So I voted yes on, I think, on all of those. And so that was really great. Another update that's top of mind is just the COVID update as general. I think many people are aware now as just to what's happening in with the number of cases here in Michigan. Unfortunately, the cases are rising in Michigan. And in some parts, some lists I've seen that are the top 10 cities across America. Michigan cities make up about 7 of those. And so cases are out of control. And so there is a lot that is going in to just kind of to mitigate and hopefully rectify the situation here. I know our Michigan leadership, elected leadership, has been very vocal to our federal administration to kind of surge vaccines into Michigan. That I think the plan right now, broadly speaking, is to vaccinate our way out of this as quickly as possible. Michigan has built a tremendous capacity in getting these vaccinations out pretty quickly. We're on the upper end relative to most states in the country. And so whatever we can do to get these vaccinations out as quickly as possible will help. I believe we're at about 5 million doses administered around the state, which is phenomenal. I know the federal government has committed to bringing more vaccinators and other supplies to kind of just help with that capacity building. I'm not sure if we've gotten a pledge to actually receive more vaccinations yet, but that being said, we're getting those vaccinations out as quickly as we're receiving them. I believe we're on pace for another record shipment of vaccinations into Michigan. We're going to be receiving close to 620,000 vaccinations in Michigan next week. That is a mix of Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna. Again, although I'm not a health expert, I do understand that, whatever vaccination you're comfortable taking, you should take. But, if you have an opportunity to take either one, you should absolutely take the opportunity. In terms of that, some great news starting on April 5th, so about a week ago. Now, anyone over the age of 16 in Michigan is eligible to receive a vaccination. Again, it just speaks to kind of just the capacity we've built and how fast these are going out. And so I look forward to kind of just seeing that continue. And I know that there's so many questions on vaccinations, and I probably don't have all the answers in this 5-minute update. Again, specific questions, please feel free to reach out to those. But just if you're having trouble, make sure you're registering on all the different wait lists that are out there. There's appointments available by health departments, by hospitals, by local pharmacies. There's mass vaccination sites like Ford Field. So if you're able to get to Ford Field, that is a place you need an appointment before you go. But I know a number of people who have been able to find appointments there. So that is something that you can go through the Myers website. There will be a link in the chat to kind of direct you on how to make those appointments. And so, but if you have any issues, let us know with that. If you're not tech savvy, or if you know someone who is not tech savvy, there's also a great program through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services where you can call 211 and press option 5 to help direct you to make an appointment over the phone. And that will be completely confidential. So that's just a great option for people who might not be tech savvy or have access to the internet. So please share that if you know of anyone who would be in need. Otherwise, you can always go to michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. That again will be put in the chat. It's michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. And, and over there, there's a number of resources for Michigan and for the vaccine and kind of different options that are available. From the constituent services update, we have been doing a lot. As always, we take every single message we get into our office, whether it's phone call, email, text, fax. We've gotten some faxes, or postal mail. If you are in need of anything, please feel free to reach out to my office. And some of my contact information is put up right here above my head. But again, our contact information will be put into the chat. Please feel free to reach out. Our team has been working hard since the day we've started. We have a goal to respond to every single message that comes into our office from a constituent. And, we take that very seriously. And so we read every single note that we receive, and we absolutely love trying to be a resource to help. We may not always have the answer to a question, but we will try our best to, at a minimum, point you in the right direction. And so, please feel free to reach out if there's anything that we can help with. It's really important to hear from all sides of the district. And so, regardless of how small your thought, regardless of where you live. Again, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear. On the topic of constituent relations, one of the most frequent topics we're hearing about is unemployment. A large number of workers here in Michigan are still having, to deal with questions regarding just the unemployment and all the rule changes. One of the big updates was that the expansions to the temporary state unemployment provisions did actually end on March 31st. And so I know that's caused some, some questions, and I know that's and so if you have any questions regarding UIA, please feel free to reach out. But that the expansions that expired were like the 28-day late filing, the COVID-related reasons for regular unemployment, and so if you're in need of assistance, what the best way to actually, and the quickest way to do it, if you are starting a new claim or if you have some issues, there's a form on our website which you can view, and so and then just fill out that information. If you can get through those questions, that kind of provides us with a high level of what we're going to need. And so so please feel free to just reach out if you have unemployment. I know it can be complex, and again, just would love to kind of help with that. With upcoming events, I'm sorry, I'm kind of just flushing through things here. We have a couple minutes left. I would, again, we're going to be doing the coffee hours as frequent as possible. With COVID, we are trying to, kind of just gauge when to start the in-person coffee hours. I know those were hugely popular historically, and so we would love to move back to that, but obviously it's not the responsible thing to do right now. But as soon as the weather breaks, and then and more importantly, that the case numbers start decreasing, we will certainly try to explore the option of the in-person coffee hour. But please fill out that form in the chat just to register, and just let us know what times work and things of that nature. And so that'll help. Again, we do have our Vasaki celebration tomorrow for anyone interested in joining. And so hopefully I look forward to being able to do this in person soon, and just let's all do our part to stay safe, continue social distance, wear masks, and as soon as we can kind of beat this virus, those things can start. And so I know I went through a lot, and so I guess here we will open it up to a question or two before we sign off here. And so I will be bringing on Hannah from my team to kind of help facilitate with that.
Hello, how are you?
All right, and I think we hear you.
Yes, I think we're good. My dog's gonna bark here in the background. All right, we have a couple of questions here. I think people would like to get your thoughts on energy expansion in Michigan. Specifically, there's a bill in the Michigan House, House Bill 4236, that would lift the cap on the solar energy. So if you could just touch on this topic, that would be great.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that modernizing our infrastructure here is absolutely crucial, and something that I want to be a part of. I've made it no secret that I'm coming from the automotive industry, and electric vehicles are where I want to see Michigan go. And so I'm personally invested in making sure that we are moving in the right direction and becoming a leader of this. Certainly not opposed to solar by any means. If anything, I think we need to be doing whatever we can to bring down the cost of solar, to make it accessible for all communities. I think that there's some environmental justice and economic justice questions in terms of just kind of how we do this. I think the state should be very intentional in making sure that, again, that this is available to all communities, it's affordable. And again, we're doing this in a way where we're bringing as many people to the table to move forward. But again, in my vision of Michigan, everyone's going to have an electric vehicle someday. Whether that's a couple of years from now or further down the line. I think that's the future. I think Michigan needs to be ahead of the curve on that innovation in terms of both for economic reasons, but also very importantly, environmental reasons. And so I would love to see kind of Michigan lead the way on that.
Great, thank you. And Roger, I see your message here asking where you can put your questions. We do see your comments here in the chat. So I know that you left a comment here earlier that says you would like to connect on shared parenting and laws related to family court here at the state level. So I do see that on there. I see we have a couple more questions here related to the solar bill. And this one specifically is just on co-sponsorships and bringing it out of committee. And we don't know a whole lot on that when it's going to move out of there, but I'm sure you can give a brief comment to that as well.
Sure. What was the exact question? Just co-sponsorships? Yeah,
just moving it out of committee. So what the process looks like for getting a bill like that out of committee.
Yeah, well, I am a lowly freshman in the minority party. And so I don't understand this process completely, as well as probably some other people. But the way a bill works in committee is, the members of the committee must vote out a bill in simple majority. And that's up to the chair to decide when that vote happens. When that vote happens, and if it is successfully voted out, it would then be introduced onto the broader House floor. So the way that this bill stands right now is it has not been taken up for vote in Energy Committee. That should be happening at some point here. And then we will, and then if it's voted out, we'll then go to the House floor. And so that's really up to the chair to decide when that vote is taken.
Thank you. We have a question here from Kathy related to any news on when vaccines may be authorized for children under the age of 16.
So that is something that is out of the bounds of the state legislator. That would be more directed to federal agencies such as the FDA. I know that testing has begun. There is some hope that, and I don't think it's going to be one swoop saying, okay, now from infant to 16, we're good to go. My understanding that this testing is happening in phases. And so from my understanding, again, please don't quote me on this though, but from my understanding is it'll be introduced in phases. And so we might go from like 14 to 16 or 12 to 16 in the next phase and then kind of work our way down. But that testing is currently happening across the world, quite frankly. I know that there's a number of research institutions looking for parents to who are okay with their kids being a part of these testing and these trials. So that work is absolutely happening. I unfortunately don't have any insight as to when exactly that will all be ready.
Thank you. And then Roger here again, more on the shared parental leave, just where you might stand on that issue. And we might need some more information on it, but I don't know if you want to give some thoughts there.
Yeah, it's not an issue I'm super familiar with, and it's something, but it's something I'm willing to look into, like every other issue. I think that things should absolutely be fair, and that obviously that interpretation means something different to everyone. I know when it comes to just parenting and custodying issues, there's a lot of emotion involved, and these things are not always black and white, and there's a lot of gray area. And so, I would love to kind of further explore the space and just to see if there are ways to make improvements and to make the process more fair, so to speak. But it is something I would probably a little bit more into.
Thank you. It is 12:30 now, and I know that normally our coffee hours go the full hour, but with legislative spring break, we were going to wrap up a little earlier here. So if you have any final thoughts or anything, Rep. Puri, that you would like to leave with everyone, otherwise we will wrap things up for the day. And as always, you can reach out to our office if you're a constituent, and we will be happy to, address any concerns or questions and assist you with anything that you might need. So Roger, if you want to reach out and chat and send some more information over, we'd be happy to look at that.
And I believe I've corresponded with Roger. So Roger, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to chatting with you again. And everyone else, thank you for your questions. I know today's legislative update was a little bit light, but we'll be back on in a few weeks for our next one here. Again, we're going to kind of play it by ear and just see what's best in the interest of public health to figure out when we do this in person. In the meantime, just thank you everyone for being flexible and moving online. But thank you everyone for joining. Give me some of your afternoon. As Hannah mentioned, our office is always open. So just feel free to reach out. And we're back in Lansing this week. So if it's easier to meet there, we're willing to do that as well. So look forward to staying in touch with everyone. Please reach out with any questions or concerns, and our office is always willing to help. And thanks again for your time. All right. Thank you, everyone.